How to make compost out of newspaper. Ordinary newspaper can be a successful component of rich, useful garden compost. Newsprint is composed primarily of plant fiber, and modern newspaper inks are made from a safe soybean oil base. There are two ways to turn your newspapers into compost: in a compost bin, or using a red worms in a vermicomposter. Things you'll need: compost bin, paper shredder optional, green composting materials, food scraps, weeds, grass clippings, dirt or manure, water, bucket, stacking tray, vermicomposter, 1 pound red wiggler worms, spading fork. Compost bins. Shred newspaper into narrow strips by hand, or by using a paper shredder. Spread a 10-inch thick layer of shredded newspaper on the bottom of the compost bin. Layer 2 inches of green compost material over the newspaper. Spread 1/2 inch of dirt or manure over the green compost material. Water the layers thoroughly. Repeat with additional layers, watering between rounds, until the compost bin is full. Water the compost pile frequently. Turn the compost pile with a spading fork when it has diminished to about half its original height. Water the pile after turning it. Turn and water the pile every third day after the initial turning. Inspect the decomposing compost at each turning to assess whether the newspapers have broken down completely. Use the newspaper compost only after all pieces of paper have fully decomposed. Vermicomposting. Shred newspaper by hand or by using paper shredder. Place shredded newspaper in the bucket and add water. Remove the shredded paper 1 handful at a time, bringing it out until it is damp but not dripping. Fill bottom tray of vermicomposter with damp shredded newspaper. Add 1 pound of red wiggler worms to the newspaper bedding. Feed the worms 1/2 pound of food scraps per day. When the worms have consumed the food scraps, fill the second stacking tray with shredded newspaper, and add 1/2 pound of food scraps daily. Repeat with additional trays. Continue adding food scraps daily for 3 to 6 months. Separate the worms and any remaining visible pieces of newsprint for return to the bin, and use the newspaper vermicompost for all garden purposes. Tips: warnings. Newspapers can take slightly longer to decompose than other carbon matter used in composting, such as dead leaves or wood shavings. Be sure to keep the pile wet and turn it frequently. Glossy advertising flyers may have clay coatings which are not beneficial for composting, so they should be removed from newspapers before use.